good. I assume that the balls are the problem in that situation, but
Oh,
it doesn't
hey, we
make
just
it
started.
any...
Hey, welcome to Furry Bias. Balls are the problem. There we go, everybody. Oh, shit. That's funny. I just wanted to get started there. I figured we'd get something funny.
That's what the intersectional feminist would say. Am I right?
I was set
I'm
up
kidding.
just now.
Oh,
I thought I was talking amongst friends, not on camera.
We saw that move 7 conversations in advance. We planned this whole thing out to just get you to say that one
set
line.
the whole time.
We've been here since, what, 6 a.m. this morning?
You're
With
probably gonna get off a little bit.
With journals,
Set the whole thing up.
trackers,
We had a whole
schedules.
act planned.
Huh.
We were originally going to be mimes, but
Lucky
it didn't
for
work.
you guys, I'm that predictable.
Megan gives shitty jokes the amount of respect they should have. Huh.
There you go.
Oh, God. How was your guys' week?
I worked a bunch
Oh, yeah?
and got,
Got what?
I got money.
Nice.
I got that money.
Oh, money bags over here.
You're a bartender now, right?
Yeah, well, this is a weird thing about my work is when I left, I was a bartender, right? And I did all the best events, like the ones where you make the most money.
Yeah.
And when I went back, they're like, yo, we got all these people in front of you in like the pecking order to give bartending shifts to.
Oh.
But when I went back this week, all the days I was bartending. So, and I'm a way better bartender than like a lot of the bartenders there. So it's like,
Shots fired.
I feel like when push comes to shove and they have like a 200-person wedding and they need somebody that can like really like do the work,
Really bartend.
fast and good and well and stuff, they're going to come back. They're going to come back to the OG. The motherfucker that trained all these people how to bartend. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. I
But-
see you. I see you. I hear you. I respect it.
I still got the moves too. Like I was kind of worried. I was
moves?
like, huh?
What's your go-to
The
move as a
bartending. Well, like just the quickness, the speed. I was a little bit worried that I'd like come back and be a little bit rusty. You know what I mean? Like
Are you like were you like flipping stuff in the air, or are you just like?
this isn't cocktail.
Like when you say the moves, that's what I was imagining.
what I imagine,
Like
yeah.
glasses flying. Like he's just like.
No, like so as a bartender, like you have like a pour. You know what I mean? And so I was afraid. I was like, oh, am I not gonna remember? Am I not gonna have the muscle memory? I'm not gonna remember like how to do stuff quickly. But it just immediately
Can you pass me
came
that?
back.
You know what
pass me
they
that one.
say.
This
Yeah, I want to
one's
see the
full.
pour. Oh, this is empty.
Parker,
Well, it doesn't have a speed pour on it.
here's what we're gonna do.
Pour it up. Pour it up.
Now, show me your pour after that. 'Cause
That doesn't have a speed pour.
what do you mean by that?
What the?
There's something. You've never been to a bar?
Not once.
There,
Assume I'm mentally challenged and I've never been to a bar.
as always.
But I don't know like why that's the cutoff for being mentally
So if you pour something out of a bottle like this, right? It's kind of hard to control how much comes out, right?
Right, yeah,
Like,
you just got it all
yeah,
over
I
the
just got it
table.
all over the table.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Unless
But
you're
so,
a good bartender, then it's not.
all right.
No,
first
go
off,
ahead. Go ahead. Go
Yeah, you
ahead.
could just be a good bartender.
So there's a tool you fit on that you put on top of a bottle that when you pour it, you can pour the exact amount that you want on it.
Seems like the equivalent of training wheels on a bicycle. Because in my head, I didn't get to say this because I didn't have a chance. But it, like I was gonna be like riding a bike, you never forget. Working at a bar, you never forget. So now that you have that backstory, that thing that you're talking about sounds a lot like training wheels on a bike.
The best bartenders in the world, or the busiest ones, use speed pours.
Does it-
Because it lets you make drinks faster. If you're pouring a drink like this, you either have to have a shot glass. There's no way to know how much you pour going like this from a bottle. There's just no way. No matter how good you are as a bartender, like you can kind of guess. Like I can kind of do it because I'm so goddamn good. But if you want to really exactly make a drink, you have to have a speed pour because it pours. This pours out at like different rates depending on how much you tilt it and how much is in there. A speed pour, you just turn it all the way upside down, and it pours at the exact same rate, no matter how much is in there, no matter any other conditions.
Is the thing you're talking about? Is it like a little like metal like straw? almost
Yeah,
that
pretty
pops
much.
up so it
Yep.
can be, like,
Yeah, it's called a speed pour. Do you know why it's called a speed pour? Because it's
Pour faster.
faster. Yeah.
Wow.
It'd be like training wheels if training wheels had a motor on them.
Could you imagine?
I've done it.
I was about to be like a car, but we were one wheel away. One wheel away.
Wait, what wheel? No, training wheels have 4. Make
Oh.
you
They have 3.
Hey guys,
They
so
have 4. They have 4.
because a
No, I'm
bike
thinking
has
of
2 wheels
tricycle.
and a.
You're right. I was thinking tricycle in my head when I said training wheels out loud.
before we continue on, I'm gonna check the audio that we had there and
Okay.
make sure it's not complete shit because we have done this before
Okay.
where we thought it was good and then we had a good intro. We went on, so it's gonna be a little pause.
Was
you know?
last week's not good?
Oh no, last week was good, but the stuff on here on the OBS software changed. Like it didn't save, so I had to adjust it. So I just want to make sure it's not, because I'm going to have to edit that audio that we just did, because that was pretty, I like that. This part would be cut out. Is behind the wall.
This is break.
And the audio is fine, everybody.
Woohoo!
But you were talking about, while we were off, you were talking about the actual thermostat. And yes, Parker, I did turn up the heat, because
Too
you were so
hot.
cold last
It's
week.
too hot this time.
Mother
Next week,
fucker,
next week you'll
Megan.
get it
We
right.
got Goldilocks over here. Fucking.
You try to be a gentleman, and it just never works.
Be a better gentleman.
Be a better. What is your particular temperature that you like to be around?
74 degrees.
74 degrees? That's
What
a
is
lie.
this?
74 degree. Wait, well, hold the fuck up. 74
How do you
degrees?
live in that?
You like to be able to boil water more quickly or something like that? Like, what the fuck are you talking
74
about?
degrees is average, honestly.
No, 70 degrees is average.
Okay, so here's how my brain works. When you said that, I was like, you're right, 74 degrees is too cold. I like it to be like 76.
You know how hot her house usually is?
All right,
What?
It's
listen.
whatever the fucking temperature
I
is
got an air
outside.
conditioner.
Oh.
Okay, I got an air conditioner. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Carried up the stairs by myself in heels. What?
What? First of all,
Why?
why in here?
Why wouldn't you just take off the
wouldn't you-
heels and walk barefoot?
Because my wooden stairs are splintery, and because I was carrying it out of my car when I got home from work, and I know myself well enough, I'm self-aware enough that I knew that if I went back inside with the intention of like, I'll go back out to my car and get it, that wasn't gonna fucking happen. I had to commit right then and there under any circumstance that I needed to get that shit in there right then and there, and I did, and now I have air conditioning in only my bedroom.
So the one room's still hot as fuck?
Yeah.
Doesn't even come out?
It has a good window out there. It's breezy. It's not that bad.
Easy, breezy, beautiful,
Lemon squeezy.
air conditioning.
I used the post office for the first time this week.
How was that?
Awful.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I hate the government. And that's not the only reason I hated the post office. First of all, I was under the impression that the post office was completely free because I've never used it before. I've always
You never heard of a stamp before?
No, I got that much. I understood they fucked you with the stamp and made you pay 30 cents for a stamp. I wasn't too worried
up to
about
50.
cents.
Yeah.
I thought she was talking about dollars for a second.
$50. We're getting there.
For
You
a
know, at the
stamp.
rate that we're going.
I was sending I was sending something from here to Baltimore and it's like 5 pieces of paper for the
Yeah.
licensing that I gotta do. And it cost me $7.55.
Wow.
Might as well have just driven it up there.
I should have. Well, probably would have been the same amount with gas. But no, I always thought that the post office was free shipping other than the stamp. And it wasn't. Like, why the hell is my tax dollars going towards that and I gotta pay the same
Because then a
rates?
business could just ship everything for free.
Hmm?
If you didn't have to pay, a business, whenever they wanted to ship something, could just put it through the postal service.
Yeah.
If you're Walmart, why pay people in trucks? Why not just ship millions and millions of pounds of cargo?
Well, then don't let the post office ship business shit.
But how do you know?
What do you mean?
How do you
Some
know?
guy sends a Walmart thing through it. You're gonna know that the guy from Walmart's sending this through.
Do you think FedEx is cheaper?
Cheaper?
Like, like to overnight something with FedEx, is that cheaper than going to the post office? I don't know. I'm asking.
Overnighting with FedEx typically cost about what, $20?
I had
$20?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't
last thing I
ship.
sent was about $20.
I don't ship many
I
things.
had an opposite experience. I had to drop something off at UPS. Now, to be fair, they had the like whole return slip in there, so they probably already paid for it. All I had to do was give that guy my slip and be
Yeah.
like, I would like to mail this. And I was a little dumb, didn't understand what was happening. So he tried to hand me the folder the same time that I tried to hand him the paper. So
Mhm.
what ended up happening is he opened it up for me to put it in there, and it was a team effort in a situation that did not need to be a team effort. I make everything a lot more uncomfortable than it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, all right, like going in my purse, and he was like,
No, that's
have
it.
Have
Yeah.
a good day. And I was like, what? I
Well,
was
that's
like,
what the
"You
return-
just gave me this envelope. And he was like, no, please leave.
But they had already paid for your postage if you have the return
But see, I was
thing.
thinking postage. I didn't realize that also covered the charge of the envelope. Big fucking spender
Oh.
over here.
Right, yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
Yeah, they're losing dimes and nickels everywhere.
I feel like I cheated the system.
Well, that's true. But I remember when I was like 17, my dad asked me. My dad like works from home, so he used to have me do like odd jobs and stuff, like send stuff. So I remember one time he went for me to go get stamps, and I went to like the UPS. It might have been the UPS store, and I went in there and I was like looking around, and I couldn't find stamps anywhere. There was all like they're like iTunes gift cards and stuff out in the open, and I like asked a girl, I'm like, "Yo, where are stamps?" And she goes, "Behind me. We don't want people to steal them." And I'm like you'd have to steal 50 pounds worth of stamps to like buy a cheeseburger at McDonald's, you know?
You'd be surprised, man. People hustle in all those ways. I mean, we remember Isaiah.
Well, couldn't you just steal the iTunes gift cards?
Don't
They
you
were
have to activate
50?
them at the register?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that
You
makes
have to,
sense.
Because if you take those things, there's no money on them. Like if you get a gift card from somebody,
Yeah.
like you just take that, you like.
Imagine walking into a Walmart being like, "This is the best heist ever!" Like,
Yeah.
out with armfuls of gift cards, and there's no money. It's just
Thousands upon
plastic.
thousands of dollars
But at
you
the end
didn't
of the day,
steal.
you really just wanted to recycle plastic for the money anyway, and you still got a little bit of money out of it.
How much do they pay for plastic?
Not that much.
Speaking of plastic, that actually segues into our first topic pretty good.
Yeah, it's about Dolly
Maryland-
Parton. Oh,
Oh, what? Dolly Parton?
Don't you?
she
do
has a
not-
lot of.
Don't you
Are you about to
dare
disrespect
hate
Dolly
Huh?
Parton?
the legend Dolly Parton in this household.
I'm not disrespecting.
That's
She's
the
just
woman
made in
that-
certain choices
This
about
is not
her
my house,
look.
and I'm gonna tell you, not in this house.
That's the woman who sings Jolene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has an amusement park. And
Yeah,
I've been there, and it's amazing in Tennessee.
yeah.
You've been to Dollywood?
Yeah, I've been to Dolly World. Or Wood.
Dollywood.
Is
Thank
it not
you.
Dolly
Jesus
World? It's Dolly.
Christ.
I've been there. I don't know what
There's
it is.
Hollywood, Bollywood, and Dollywood. They're the three
I
woods.
figured. Okay.
And James.
I figured
but
they'd be going for like a Disney World type.
Do you
theme.
think James Woods has been to all of them? Why would
I don't
he?
think James
Why
Woods
would-
leaves his house.
Again.
I don't know why. Like I've never seen any movie that he's been in besides Hercules, but he just seems like somebody just stays at home.
I mean, same.
He was in he was the devil in Hercules, right?
He was Hades.
Hades.
yeah.
Hades is not the devil.
This jabroni over here. doesn't
Jesus
know who
Christ! Do you
Hades
not know
is.
your Roman and Greek mythology?
I don't. As a matter of fact, I do not. Wait, Hades is
What
the
a
devil?
fucking loser!
Oh,
Huh?
fuck you guys. What's the difference between Hades and the devil?
There-
Hades is the keeper of the underworld.
Yeah, the
okay? No.
Well, well.
Does that mythology have
In Roman mythology, Pluto is the keeper of the underworld, and Hades is literally the underworld.
That's not.
Yeah,
not true?
that's
I'm not saying
completely
it's not
true.
All I know about it
We
is
can Google
It's
it.
real. I believe you.
We
I'm
can
just
Google
like,
it.
How does one guy become the underworld?
That's what he is.
Oh, because it's all fake.
There's also Tartarus.
You can do whatever you want.
Tartarus is like the underworld times 2. It's like a bottomless pit in the underworld. It's like if you're really bad, they throw you in Tartarus.
But if you're just kind of bad, you have to be inside of Hades.
Well, no, you don't even have to be bad. Everyone that dies goes to
if you're
Hades.
really bad, you have to fuck Hades.
That's like my interpretation of this depiction, like being inside Hades. I'm like, so you have to fuck like everybody who dies. Like, what a sweet gig Hades got.
Yeah, right? Just
Like, oh,
Being the underworld?
have everybody inside him.
Is he into vor?
What?
is he what?
Never mind.
The
Move
vor?
on. Huh?
Anyway, Maryland has banned
Anime
styrofoam.
jokes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I actually
So-
I didn't know how bad. I got a video here. I wasn't
Like there
sure.
could
Does
be
anyone-
no like even packing peanuts
You're
and
not
stuff.
allowed to have like.
peanuts are just garbage. I mean,
What do
literally.
you know anything about like how bad styrofoam is for the environment or your health or anything? Because I didn't before I
know-
researched this.
I just know that it is, that I've trusted people who tell me that it is, and like makes sense. Like it feels weird. It feels like and looks like it's not something that would be good for me. And I know like when you burn
Yeah.
styrofoam, it's like really toxic.
And it tastes horrible.
A lot of stuff that you burn wood and inhale that, it's not good for you.
But it smells so good.
Are you like huffing styrofoam?
Wood? I'm talking about like a campfire.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Jeez.
Also, wood looks like natural when it burns. Styrofoam looks like you're sending something back to the underworld. That like they had to do some spell to get it back here. They're sending
used
it
by
back.
restaurants because of its
80s.
The underworld is just
Callback.
filled with
Also, that
people boning in styrofoam.
People boning with styrofoam.
I think if you're allowed to bone.
dildos.
Squeaking.
All the dildos.
Oh, that's the noise I can't do. Styrofoam on styrofoam. Oh my god.
That's why it's hell.
Huh?
That's why it's hell.
Like, yeah,
It's
you have
just
all
that.
the sex you want, but
You can-
there's never
but
not the sound of
you have
styrofoam.
you have to wear a sumo suit made out of styrofoam,
It's also
but
a
you
styrofoam
can.
bed.
Oh,
Everything.
God.
Oh
All
my God.
styrofoam everywhere.
The food is styrofoam.
Alright, let's watch this.
Hold on. That article you sent too was the shortest article I've ever seen.
Right, no,
I
no.
started
It literally
thinking
is
of
3
gun violence, and I
sentences.
was like, this is not.
It was like they passed a law in Maryland. They banned single-use styrofoam. That is what happened. That was the
Also-
entire article.
But also, Maine did it first. That was the article.
Yeah,
True.
They did have to put that humble brag for Maine in there.
Well, I kept reading like after the ads, and it was like about gun violence, and I was like, wait a second, wait a second, this is not accurate. This is a different article that I am now reading. It's like styrofoam did not cause gun violence.
They could have.
We just don't
Some
know.
weird way. You don't know. You
Lead
can cause
causes
a correlation
lead
with almost
causes
anything.
gun violence because it makes people more
Oh,
violent.
Bullets.
No, no.
You make bullets out of lead, right?
Lead poisoning causes gun violence.
What do you mean?
Lead poisoning makes people dumber and more violent.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about
That's,
the
like,
violent thing. I
proven,
thought it
yeah.
just really significantly affected your mental capacity.
Like there's the old joke among historians that
I hate
I hate
like
it
arrogant,
already.
like I know history, Parker.
All right, Parker, let's hear it.
the old joke is that like when you know how the Roman Empire fell, it was because they started using lead in all their cups, and it led to everyone being dumb and violent
It
because they all got lead.
led to everyone being dumb and violent.
Did you mean to do that, Parker?
Not consciously, but I feel like my subconscious,
Parker's like, I'm
the
funny.
id wanted me to do it. I'm
I
not
know
doing
what the
this.
It is. I just want,
Okay.
you don't gotta explain to me. I just want to look at you like that.
Okay.
Oh shit. Okay, so this talks about the actual effects of.
Oh,
styrofoam.
hold on. I
You
need
get your thing.
and I need my glasses. Give me one second.
Your glasses.
Jesus Christ.
glasses.
My glasses.
I can't see anything without my glasses.
Oh, I guess before we start this, can you pass me that bottle over there?
Yup.
Thank you, sir.
Let's do it,
Get this nice
buddy.
pour in here.
This is the prettiest bottle of juicy juice in the world.
Dude, it's like 13% too.
This
so,
is 13%.
Yeah.
Straight up juicy
13.9%.
Oh my god.
That's 14%.
Why do you think I bought it?
Because it's
Do you think
pretty.
I want to, I just like feeling a little bit tipsy on like my day off? No.
Are
I'm
you
not.
me?
We have work
you
to do
literally
here,
me?
huh?
That sounded like my voice and also a thing I would say.
I feel like almost everyone that we hang out with is like that. Because I literally, when I'm at bars, I will look for the drink with the highest alcohol content.
Well, especially
then
for
order that
beer.
Yes.
High alcohol beers are really good.
No, they're nasty. Are you kidding
Have you ever
me?
had a 10% alcohol beer?
Yeah.
You ever
it's
had a Belgian?
so fucking bitter. Yeah,
Belgian
I've had
triple?
the,
It's
like,
the
the 99%
best.
IPA or whatever the
No. IPAs are garbage.
Okay,
I don't
I
like
like
garbage
IPA.
IPAs. I like one IPA, but like Belgians
The bearded men are really gonna fight about this
are
right now.
like the Belgians and like high percent stouts are my.
Ew. Gross, Parker.
I like porters, stouts, IPAs, pretty much everything but sour beer.
Love sours.
Terrible.
You know what? I fully understand that it's not for everybody. Sours, blue cheese, and olives. I will respect your choice to not like them. I just happen to like robust flavors.
I love blue cheese and olives. I generally don't. There's a time and a place for sour beer.
Where is that time and place?
When you don't
80s
want to
and-
chug
So
a
that's where you deserve
When you're
it.
fucking on styrofoam.
Yeah.
and
when you're
literal
already
underwear.
pretty drunk and you don't want to drink a beer super quickly. That's when I get sours.
What was that terrible thing you were
Okay,
passing around like 3 weeks ago
listen.
to everybody?
Hard seltzers, I stand by them. I will endorse you
Hard
as White
seltzers are
Claw.
good. Yeah, I like hard seltzers.
No, you don't
Right?
understand.
You have to like seltzers in order to like them. If you don't like seltzer water, you're not gonna like a hard seltzer. It literally tastes like a seltzer water.
Well,
they're so easy to drink.
they're
It's
very-
like 5-point-something%. It's the same as a light beer.
Well,
That's
it's low
that is-
calorie. It's
that-
low calorie is the big
There's
one.
no sugar in
That's
them.
a system.
It's
They're low
very low calorie.
Okay,
That's a
but you're
sissy
also
beer.
like hydrating as you drink them because it's primarily made out of what? It's essentially a vodka tonic in a can.
The beer is primarily water.
No,
beer
tonic
makes you
tonic
feel
water has
bloaty
sugar in it.
and icky and sticky and like.
And sugar water doesn't?
There's no sugar in it. Did you not just hear what I just said
I
to you?
did not.
Yeah, maybe you should listen. This
I'll
is a good
try
lesson
in
for
the
the rest
future.
of the podcast.
I will try, and one day you'll get me to, Megan. But
One can only hope.
If you guys couldn't tell, they banged at some point. You just gotta get out in the open.
yeah, it's out there. But
Oh,
My parents are gonna listen to this.
it's fine. We're adults.
so do mine.
I'm actually impressed how much we've been adults about this.
Oh god. Give me.
We're not talking
that.
about it any further,
Give me this.
but this is how you do it, motherfuckers.
No, this is not how.
Wait,
you do
no.
it.
How did you all do it?
Well, styrofoam. A lot of styrofoam.
Do you know they make strap-ons out of styrofoam? Who the fuck knew?
Okay, let's get into this video.
Ah, this is the best podcast and the worst
Why did you
podcast.
do this?
This is listen.
I had to. You guys are bickering like old people.
We weren't even
We
bickering.
bickered before anything happened.
Yeah,
It's our
yeah,
charm. It's our rapport.
yeah. The people deserve to know. Journalistic integrity.
Good. Anyway, back to the styrofoam shit. Bam.
Low cost and wide availability, Styrofoam has become the go-to option for everything from cups to takeout boxes. However, there are many downsides, and if you look very carefully, very few pros to purchasing Styrofoam over other more sustainable alternatives.
Did you say sustainable?
One downside
Did
Yeah.
you say substainable?
Yeah, she did.
What does that mean? Is that like a real word?
No, she's like Southern.
Sustainable.
Southern people can still pronounce
Sustainable.
words correctly.
Yeah, but sustainable sounds better in a southern accent than sustainable does. It's
Sustainable.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Sustainable. Substainable.
Yeah,
That sounds like, yeah, that sounds like something George Bush would say. We need more sustainable energy options like nuclear and coal.
Oh my god.
Oh well.
Nuclear is the worst. That's
What?
not how you say it.
Nuclear is how it is,
Yeah.
right?
Nuclear.
There's
What's
no
wrong? Ah, fuck you.
Nuclear.
Tomato, tomato, homie.
Homie.
tomato and tomato
There it is.
are the same number of syllables.
Yeah.
Nuclear and nuclear have the same amount of syllables too. Parked
Correct.
around.
Just got burned.
Yeah, there you
Set
go.
myself up there.
I know everything about history.
I don't
But
know
not basic
everything about
fucking
history. Well,
That's where I come in.
Yeah, you're actually an English major, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Wasted a couple years, huh?
John Mulaney has a joke where he's like, "So I got a degree in a language I already spoke." Not my joke. Not my joke. I wish it was, but it's not.
All right, let's get back into
It's
this.
my joke of a degree. Okay, continue.
there we go.
to Styrofoam food containers is that they contain a harmful chemical known as polystyrene. Not only is it dangerous to make, but when containers are heated, the chemical can leach into whatever is inside, including your food. Exposure to polystyrene can cause irritation of the eyes, skin, and respiratory tract, and can also affect the central nervous system, kidneys, and blood. Styrofoam also causes issues environmentally. Due to its high volume and low weight, Styrofoam is rarely recycled due to the high costs associated with its transport and decomposition. Because of this, Styrofoam and other similar plastics now account for roughly 25 to 30% of landfill content. This is a problem because Styrofoam takes an estimated 500 years or more to fully decompose. Outside of landfills, Styrofoam is the primary source of urban litter and is a known pollutant of many U.S. water sources, including oceans.
Those are basically the three main complaints that people have with this kind of shit. And you know me,
I
Pretty-
felt like I was back in like chemistry class in high school
Oh,
when
really?
the teacher was a
haunting
sub.
music.
Huh?
I love the haunting music behind it.
That's how you get your point across with all
She has such a pleasant voice, though. Like, I'm not scared enough. Like, I need like a.
You need like a death metal singer to come in and like, it'll kill you.
I kind of do.
Did you notice how she got less southern as it went on?
No.
Yeah, like the more like she got into the actual facts of the thing, she tried to like unsouthern it
Yeah.
up.
Well, it's hard to say polymethane dihistamine in
No,
a.
it's not. You just did it.
Polymethane substantial. Substantial.
There's some substantial evidence.
You sound like a southern like belle. You know what I mean? Whereas
you
like
sounded
you
like
gotta
someone
do
from
that.
Wisconsin.
You
What
gotta
do
do
you wanna say
that
about
motherfucking low down dirty southern accent, boy. I'll tell you what.
I'm a Georgia Pete.
Georgia P.
Oh, gross.
Gross.
No, man, like, I'm someone who basically, like, all the time with this kind of shit, I don't want the government getting involved and, like, telling us what we can do. But I could not give a flying fuck about the banning of styrofoam. And there's so many people...
Cookout's gonna lose business. Are there cookouts in Maryland though?
No.
Mainly... Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well then,
Salisbury.
fuck styrofoam then.
Salisbury.
Is there really one
There's a
in
cookout in
Salisbury?
Salisbury. It's the best goddamn thing in that
It
area.
is.
Yeah,
It's
cookout is amazing.
That there's not one like closer to where I live.
It ran a Burger King out of business. It
Of
ran a
course.
Wendy's out of business.
They're open till 4 in the morning.
There you go.
Who the fuck
You
else
can get a
is?
corn dog as a side. The fuck more do you want,
The
America?
opposite of the underworld is being able to get a corn dog as a side.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you just go to heaven. It's just
just
like,
get medium.
and it just like you just stay in this cookout. You have infinite money. You get whatever you want as a
But
side.
that's the thing. It's not even expensive. It's not even.
It's
What, a
expensive.
not
corn dog?
even. It's not even expensive. It's the cheapest fast food
You
place.
get a quesadilla for $1.
It's cheaper than McDonald's now.
It's cheaper than Taco Bell, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an impossible
It's
task.
an impossible standard.
You can
I
get
know.
4 burritos for $4
It's
at
cheap.
Taco Bell.
You can get...
The lowest meal costs $5.
Do not compare a quesadilla to a burrito right now.
I'm not.
Let me shut you down real fast.
I was thinking
Alright, go
about
ahead,
it.
go
I
ahead,
was
go
thinking
ahead.
about it. But for $5 at Cookout, I can get 2 quesadillas, hush puppies, and a burger.
Wait.
I don't know. I wouldn't want a quesadilla and a burger at the same time.
What in the world is wrong with you?
I want to go
You
with
put the
theme.
quesadilla on top of the burger.
Ew, no, I don't like this.
What? Parker.
Wait, are you saying you put the quesadilla in the burger?
Are you using the quesadilla as buns in this situation? Like,
No.
instead of a bun, it's a quesadilla and a quesadilla?
Even worse.
Hold on, I have another tangent to go down. I wanted to get a double down from KFC. They don't
What?
make them anymore.
What is that?
What is the fuck is it?
What's a
It's
double
2
down?
pieces of chicken with a piece of cheese in between them.
What?
It's
I
like a
wanted
sandwich.
More than
That,
any.
you guys don't remember the double down?
I don't.
It's 2 like pieces of chicken breast that are fried, and in between is a piece of cheese. So it's like a sandwich, but the buns are meat.
I don't really eat at KFC.
But the
I don't either.
So listen, it's a sandwich wherein the buns are chicken and the only contents of the inside
It's
of the
the
sandwich
cheese.
is cheese.
That's not. a
Yes,
sandwich.
but doesn't it sound amazing?
No.
No.
Why not?
You know what sounded amazing to me was whatever the fuck Taco Bell did, where it was like a chicken patty wrapped up and your taco contents were inside of the chicken. Do you guys know what I'm talking about with this?
No.
It was only like a month that it lasted. It was literally like some fucking Morningstar school cafeteria lunch chicken patty, and they wrapped it like a tortilla, and the contents of your taco were inside of it. The chicken was the shell, and I wanted it so bad. And my friend Jenna Whitman forgot to take me to get one in time, and then we went to order one finally when she finally got her shit together. They were all gone. They haven't brought them back yet either. Naked chicken chalupa.
I don't like it.
Can we all agree on the naked chicken chalupa?
No.
I'd have to have it.
You just said you liked it.
I said I don't.
Ah, I thought you said you did.
They have some crazy shit at Taco Bell though.
Dude,
Wait,
the
hold on.
best
Let me
thing,
go back to this quesadilla cheeseburger
The
situation.
best thing. Okay.
Okay.
I want to hear what
A
this
return
looks
to
like.
form.
Paint me a visual. Give me an image.
You know what a cheeseburger looks like.
I've seen
No.
Explain to me.
Go
a
through it with
cheeseburger.
me.
Cheeseburger, bread,
Not bread.
burger,
Not bread. Bun.
Thank you.
bun.
It's not white bread.
I hope you get styrofoam the fuck up in hell, Parker.
I'm definitely going to hell. If there's a hell.
I'm going to heaven, man. I'm a real good guy. Don't laugh at that.
Exactly what someone going to hell
Don't
would
laugh at that
say.
hysterically.
That was the longest one of those I've ever done in my life.
I saw you pushing it out. Don't act like that was a naturally long.
It stopped, and I was like, no, he deserves to hear more of this for a second. It was for the better of the people.
All right. I'm a... Parker, I realized what you're doing.
Ah!
Oh, Megan, you pass
This
me
is
that
way
beer
more
over there?
fun after drinking, dude.
It is.
We should do this every time.
Just this?
Huh?
Why does it
First
say
of all,
fuck
these
off?
Fuck the news stuff. Let's just get
Yeah.
drunk
You're asking me
and...
to pass you. These are Smirnoff Ices. that
No,
you're asking
ma'am.
me to
No,
pass.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
There's
hype.
one open Miller High Life
Open
over there.
Miller High Life. You want me to get up out of my chair, grab that opened Miller High Life, and hand it to
It's
you?
only been open for like 30 minutes.
Hey.
Okay.
You guys don't have to look.
Jesus Christ, Parker. Brown.
I'm actually
It's
liking,
funny to me.
I'm actually liking this a lot. We can just say fuck the news from here on out and just fuck around each time we come to this thing. I don't know what you guys want to do.
What, Parker? What?
Nothing.
Lay it down. You clearly got something going on in there.
Parker, you have midget arms.
Oh, here we go.
You have midget.
There we go. The
Oh, that's
defense
a
kicked
low
in.
blow. That's how now he
The
knows.
he's
Now
like-
he knows you have.
Hey, all blows against me are low blows because I'm so short. Am I right, guys?
God, Parker.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is fun though.
This is fun. I actually enjoy this. So this is actually something that's in the local area. So we'll talk about this. Okay, so have you guys the shit with the tolls on I-70?
I have a conspiracy theory about tolls. I'd just like to put out into the open.
What is it?
Your GPS automatically will track you through a toll as like quickly and easily as possible as a way to pay the government money. I understand the counter argument is like, oh, well, it's the fastest way to get there. Like kind of unrelated. Like, why does my GPS? Why do I have to opt out of tolls? Obviously, I want to go the way in which I don't have to pay money to go that way. I think the government
why don't you
wants
click-
my money.
Because the software.
Why don't you click the avoid tolls button?
Yeah, that's what I just automatically have on my phone, and it
It's a
just does that
couple
every
extra
night.
steps. Why doesn't it just
You have to do that
assume-
once. You have to do 3 clicks one time, and it'll never
Yeah.
show you
Mine
tolls
resets.
again.
Mine resets.
What
itself.
what
kind of
GPS do you
shitty
use?
what kind of shitty flip
use
phone do you
Waze.
have?
We'll use iPhone maps.
I don't
Oh,
have
so
an
you want to
iPhone.
avoid police and not pay tolls at the same time?
I don't have an iPhone.
What do you have?
Galaxy.
What is that?
A
Don't fucking
Samsung
look
Galaxy?
at me like that.
I know what it is.
Oh.
Ew.
Well, Koreans like paying tolls. What do you want me to tell you?
My
Okay.
first
Kimchi and tolls.
My first
Jesus.
phone I ever had with a touchscreen on it was one of these phones. It had part touchscreen, right? Probably about that size that
Did
you
you have a
have.
BlackBerry? You look like a BlackBerry kind of guy.
First of all, you know damn well I'm not organized enough for a BlackBerry.
More like a white berry.
I'm gonna get back to my phone I was talking about. So it's just like that, but it flipped up and it had a keyboard in it too.
Oh, was it the Envy?
Yes.
The Envy 2?
Yes. I don't know
Oh,
if
I
it was
had one of
2, but
those.
it was amazing.
I had one of
phone.
each. The Envy was like a chunk like this. The Envy 2 was a little sleeker, but it still had that like there's nothing more satisfying than popping up an Envy keyboard
Mhm.
to like and then
It was-
to like
It was good. I was getting a lot of drama back in them days.
Mm.
Freshman year high school. Oh damn.
wow. I had that when I was in 6th grade. So that's
Yeah,
a
my-
huge difference.
My parents didn't want to like. Oh yeah, you're right. How old are you? We're like a year and a half apart, Meg. She acts like I'm old as fuck.
How old is everybody?
I'm 25.
I'm 23. I'll be 24 soonish.
I'm 24.
There you go.
Fucking old ass man over here. Am I right?
Yeah, I've been smelling them all night.
Y'all are real sacks of shit. Speaking of old ass people, I just spent the whole last week with my grandmother.
Had
Was
to.
that lovely?
No, she.
It's an honor for you to have spent that much time with your grandmother.
Do not get me wrong. I had a good time,
Okay.
but she has dementia
Uh,
now,
It's tough.
and it's getting kind of bad.
Yeah.
And I'm always out. Like every night, I'm out doing like some sort of stand-up thing or going out and hanging out with people at the
Mhm.
very least. So, the night before I'm about to take those exams I had to take, I figure I'm gonna go to bed early. I'm gonna go to bed at like 9. So at 8 o'clock, I'm showing her how to use Netflix upstairs.
Good for you.
And there's like 5 buttons you gotta use. Like the little circle thing with the directional, the one thing you hit to accept, and the back button. Right? So she just hits recommended and she starts watching some shows. And in the morning, I get up there and she's watching Black Mirror.
Oh.
Oh, I want to see the new season so bad.
Yeah, that's the season she was watching. And there's one, I'm not going to ruin it for you since you haven't watched it, but there's one in there where this guy, I'm going to ruin it.
No.
Da, da, da.
Anyway, it's something that has to deal with some sort of dementia. And trust me, you're not going to see it coming. I'm going to ruin it.
Don't.
I don't want to have it
Please don't.
ruined. I haven't seen it yet.
Begging you not to.
No, I can't tell us. We're going to wait till next week to hear the grandma story.
Yeah, we'll talk about it like next week. I'll watch it before then. That's my homework.
Cliffhanger.
There you go.
Keeping them tuned in.
What else was on there? There's one bullshit thing about pedophiles being part of the
that article was the
LGBTQ.
most biased, upsetting.
It had Bible
garbage.
verses. It goes, if you believe in the Bible, check out this Bible verse. Like, neutral journalism right
That was
there.
an opinion-ass column.
There was one question I had about it too. Is it had so it had this. It was going through all the different type of pedophiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like people that like babies, which is just beyond my realm of comprehension.
But they exist.
People who liked prepubescent children. There was people who liked pubescent children, which I guess means going through puberty, right?
I would assume.
And there's people that like people that have gone through puberty. Like, isn't that like
16-year-olds?
just regular people?
I would assume that's.
I'm a post-pubescent child. Like, I have parents. I am a child.
I think it's
Post-puberty is
referring
like
to, like-
16 to 18.
Yeah, like that range. So here's my whole stance.
So is that like, hold on, real quick. Is that like, like, I keep getting older, they stay the same age type of deal? Or
No,
what is that?
Pedophilia.
If you like someone that's 17,
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
fucked up. Honestly, if we
like,
put
I don't like it because of the
into it-
maturity, but like, there are girls that look, like, sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell a person's age.
Yeah, but
So
you gotta
here's-
ask.
Especially
you
with
gotta
women.
ask, and here's my thing: like, if you're like a 40-year-old dude waiting for a girl to turn 18, that's
Oh, yeah.
It's mad creepy.
If you're 40 years old and hooking up with somebody under the age of 21, it's fucking creepy. I understand that.
I'm the age of
18 is-
21.
like, you think that that's still too low?
Not
I
that,
could argue that also, but I think that like if you're like 40 and like I want a fresh 18-year-old, that's fucking creepy. That's still a child.
I think it's weird to look for somebody outside of your age range in general.
What do you
What
consider?
is
If
your
you're
age
like, if you're an
range? Yeah.
18-year-old girl looking for a 40-year-old, like, that's messed up too. You shouldn't be doing that.
Is it as messed up? I mean,
But like how?
It's not as messed up, but you should, like,
Listen.
in general, you shouldn't be, like, I think it's kind of weird to go, like, you can have whatever fucking fetish you want, but I think it's weird to go, I want this person of this age, you know?
I mean,
Isn't it kind of?
It's so the difference in that is that like a 40-year-old person knows better, but an 18-year-old might be like, this whole aesthetic of like the sugar daddy and all that and want to go for that, but it's
Yeah.
also coming from an uninformed and very naive mindset. Like, we were all 18 once. You all know that at that time you think that you know everything and you know nothing.
Exactly.
You know literally
yeah.
nothing.
No, you're right. I was a goddamn
Yeah,
idiot. at the age of 18.
Yeah, of course, everybody is. That's why I'm
Can you
like,
pass me the... Sorry.
how did this become my job, the passing of the...
Because you
You're
put
the
it over
closest,
there.
And you took it towards
It was over here, and then someone moved it. Sorry.
It was necessary.
It was... Sorry, go ahead. Hold on, I agree with your point. If you're... Yeah, it's worse, but, like, it's kind of bad. Like, I think you should... Like, the other thing is, like, maturity level is not exactly correlated with age, too. You know what I
It's
mean?
not.
How about-
I found this is most of the time relationships that work out generally have a guy that's older than the woman, because it's scientifically shown that men mature slower than women. So if you want two people on that are looking for the same things in life, that are at the same point in their life, generally it's better to have a guy that's older than the woman.
Also, what I found out is as the guy ages, he goes through problems with women like his own age and fucks up. Because it's all trial and error when you're flirting with chicks and trying to hook up and everything throughout your whole life.
It seems like it could go for anybody trying to hook up with anybody.
Right. You just made a skill with it. But when you're older, like say you're 3 years older than a chick, you have 3 years of fucking up with other women. that you've learned mistakes. So now you're just that much more charming to that one because you're not making all the mistakes that you've had before. So it's easier. And she doesn't see all the. And the younger chick's not gonna see all the bullshit.
Here's my counter argument to that is that, like, I don't know, when I started dating again, I was like, I want to hang out with older guys that have their shit together. I don't see a lot of differences between, like, 21-year-olds and 31-year-olds in my life. Like, I don't see a lot of, like, oh, he's so much more mature.
Oh,
now, also, I
You mean like job? Like they probably have better jobs.
job is one thing, but, like, mentality.
No, the only difference is probably job and the fact that he's not going to make as many stupid mistakes.
I think a lot of I'll go through my experiences. I think a lot of I think part of there's this old thing that you can see in sitcoms all the time is like the dude just wants to have kind of like fun and the woman is like more serious and stuff. And I think that comes from
Upbringing.
well, not upbringing. I think it comes from
Boys
the
will be
maturity.
boys versus cross your legs.
No, it's Jesus Christ. It comes from
Listen,
it comes
there's a lot of
from
arguments in that direction.
it comes from men maturing at a later age
because they're
than
allowed
women.
to. Because they're allowed to.
No, it's literally men. It's literally brain development. It's literally men's
willing to say that it's
frontal
both.
lobe.
Okay.
For men's frontal lobe is finished developing
Rich-ass
25 to
bartender, you are yelling
26.
Right now.
Huh?
You are yelling.
You didn't even know how to spell nuclear.
25 to 26 is when men's brains stop developing. 21 to 23 is when women's brains stop developing.
I'm willing to admit that could be a part of it.
Women also, why they have better handwriting, is because their motor functions develop at a younger age. It's all science. It's
not
all in the
all
facts.
science. No,
it's
it's
a
not all
lot
science.
science. It's a lot science.
So
This is
our differing
before-
of opinion right here
Can I
is going to
say
be that I think it's going to be more in terms of like social pressure and like societal ideas. But I do think science is a part of it. I'll admit to that. But I think that, you know, men are allowed to be rambunctious and immature and like silly and like boys will be boys, whereas women are like taught to be like proper and mature even at very young ages. Like that just
They're allowed to be immature in different ways. Women are allowed to be over emotional and stuff at younger ages. You ever heard the trope of the teenage daughter that is just sad all the time? Like there are tropes everywhere about that. And like they're just allowed to be immature in different ways. It's not necessarily on a whole scale men are allowed to be immature more often.
Even if I go along with that and like say that being immature in a way where you're over processing emotion helps you to become more mature.
No, it doesn't.
Over processing of emotion.
Over processing emotion is the opposite of being mature.
At a young age, and like immature, like going through that, having the outlet to like feel that and be a little like.
Well, a lot of women don't.
Oh my god, I wanted to buy a pretzel and he didn't buy me a pretzel and then I got so upset. I just don't know how I look. Like that's not maturity right
but
there.
neither is,
A lot of
like,
women
I
don't-
really wanted a pretzel and she took me shopping, so I'm gonna punch my wall. Like, okay, if we're gonna go with
Yeah, but
tropes,
both
we're gonna
of
go
those-
with
Which
tropes.
one of those do you think happens more often? Let's get down to
The
it.
wall punching.
Oh
No,
fuck
it
no!
does
Oh
not.
fuck no! Oh no 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 no! Oh no 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 no
Wall
no!
punching does not happen more.
I feel
You know how
like
many
both
dudes-
of y'all are about to punch your walls right now based off of that response.
We're
No,
mature,
because we're mature. We're
young men.
mature gentlemen.
Are you?
I punched
are
a few
you?
walls in my day, but guess what? I'm over it.
Exactly. You have punched them though, right? Right.
Once or twice.
How many walls have you punched?
One.
Guess how many walls I've punched? Fucking zilch.
Yeah.
How many-
How many
how many times-
How many times did you cry about fucking nothing?
Yeah.
How many times do you cry about fucking nothing?
No, never.
Not once. I'm a man.
I don't fucking believe
Men
that.
are taught to suppress emotion.
Yeah, and that's damaging.
Oh, but go back. But we're talking about being over emotional as being immature for a woman.
Both of
and
that.
and
I
we're
still-
out
I
that
never
men are
said
not
that I
taught to
signed
do
up
that.
for
And
that. I
anger,
don't see that as
anger,
a
by
big-
the way, is
This is the best podcast, by the way. We're actually getting into it. I love it.
anger, by the
I
way, is
don't
an
think
emotion.
that that's immature. I mean, immature in the sense that you're learning, I guess, but people are allowed to be emotional. And when you're a teenager and first experiencing the height of all emotion, you should be able to experience the full spectrum and like.
But why not men?
But
But
that
why
height-
can't
they
why can't men?
I'm fully on board. It's fucked up that men don't get to cry over nothing.
No, but why don't get to punch walls? Why isn't that part of the height of
That's
emotions?
aggressive. You don't see me.
Oh, because it's aggressive. See, your idea of maturity is based off of the female perspective.
No, hold on. Listen,
Yes, it is.
Listen, me crying over nothing doesn't hurt anybody. You being over the
Punching a
top to the
wall
point-
doesn't hurt anybody.
Don't talk over me. You being aggressive to the point of like I
I've
need to
been
punch
talking over
something.
Ryan this whole time, and he's been
And guess
talking over
what?
me.
And guess what?
And we
I
don't
can
care
deal
about
with
it. Yeah.
I'm like
I can
teamed
deal
up
with
the
it.
fuck against right now.
We'll have
Okay.
other women in the show eventually. We actually
Eventually.
have one next week.
Wow,
Yeah.
one whole other woman, you guys.
Yeah, and it's tied.
We're getting diverse.
Yeah, she's also Asian. Mega divorced. I said divorced. Diverse.
Right.
So you got episode. Do you guys watch Archer?
I do.
When they have the Jewish and black guy on there, and he's like, he's a diversity double whammy. Okay.
The idea of punching a wall comes from like, I need to punch something right now. Like,
Because men get angry. That's,
but that's
more
not
of
a
the
healthy
emotion.
outlet.
You're
Neither
right.
is
And-
crying over nothing.
And guess
That
what?
is not healthy either.
Crying is mad healthy,
No,
man.
it's not.
Not
Crying
over
is
nothing.
mad
Not if you're
healthy.
doing it all the time.
Not all the time.
Hold
but
on.
listen, people, there's studies that showed like watching Grey's Anatomy like throughout college and really tough times of your life is really emotionally healthy because then you're crying at a TV show and you're not crying over like the stress of your own life, but having that release, that outlet to cry is insanely healthy.
There are also
for you.
hold on. There are also studies that for men that punching stuff helps you deal with anger better.
Yeah,
Same as
punch-
cursing.
like
So
it's a controlled
so-
environment is the difference. When you're punching your wall, that's not a controlled environment.
but
If
crying
you're-
over Grey's Anatomy is a controlled environment
It
as well.
It is a controlled
Crying
environment.
over nothing is not a controlled
Do y'all know
environment.
what
So
you're
we're
ignoring here?
arguing where you can make
Do
the
you
same
all- Do you all know
analog.
what you're ignoring here? All these extremes of emotions are things that you're supposed to deal with in your youth and get the fuck over and mature as an adult and stop doing those.
You're supposed
That's
to,
why you shouldn't even be allowed to vote till 24.
Oh,
Because
Jesus Christ.
I swear to
What?
God, that should be the voting age. It's 24. I was not mature enough until at least 22, and wasn't informed enough to vote till at least 22, around that age. So
Yeah, but
Really?
if you can
I
join the
have been mad
military.
informed about everything that I voted on, and as somebody in college
you
specifically.
just said we just said we were all dumb fucks at age 18.
Listen, yeah,
We're
I
not
was
allowed to vote
stupid,
on
but I
stuff?
was like aware of the political era around me
Oh.
because it was starting to affect me. I had a moment when I was 17 years old. Listen, I had a moment when I was 17 years old and I started getting into politics and declared myself as a feminist because there was this case. I forget. Steubenville. It was a Steubenville rape case where they passed this woman along to each other like she was like a fucking sack of potatoes, and they filmed it. Steubenville, I think was the name of it. Maybe that's wrong.
Steubenville
I
with a
think
B?
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
He thought you were saying
It's
Stupidville.
Stupidville. I was like, that's the town
Stupidville.
this happened
No,
in?
it's
No, I heard
Steubenville.
Steubenville.
Oh, okay.
And that could be wrong. It's been a little while since I've looked into it. But I remember sitting there and watching this newscaster. Her name was Poppy Harlow, and she was on CNN, and she was like, these poor boys, like, their futures are ruined. Their careers are done. And at 17 years old, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, they just passed this woman around like she was a sack of potatoes and, like, videotaped themselves raping her. And this woman is sitting there and saying, these poor boys. And my, like, political gauge and my sense of awareness, what was going on in the world around me, turned the fuck on in that moment. So at 17 years old, I became hyper aware of, like, what society I was living in, and I started listening.
And that kind of
So-
Saying you're hyper aware of what society you're living in, I feel like is like
Became hyper aware that
that's like
I
an
didn't-
immature thing to say. Like
feel that.
that's
I
exactly
respect
what you
that.
feel at 18 is you're hyper aware. You know
Because
what's going on.
that's not
All
how-
the dumb fucks don't know what's going on, but
That's not
you know
even-
what's going on.
It was just the first moment that, like, my previous perception had been shattered, and I wanted to learn more.
I feel you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
So
you on
hyper-aware
that.
might not have been in the right way to say,
No,
but
no,
like,
no.
like it like ran me over like a semi truck when that
Yeah.
happened. I was like, this could have been me. And I remember getting into a fight with a teenage girl, you're 17 years old, in my class who was like, well, you know, they're young, they didn't know any better. And I was like, Rebecca, you're fucking young, you don't know any better, and we know what you do at parties. You want somebody to shame you for something like that? Like, you want to get too drunk and have somebody have that attack on you?
Yeah.
And have it be said like, oh, those poor boys didn't know any better. None of us know any better right now. We're all doing shit that's like not
Smart.
intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
But because I get myself a little bit too drunk compared to like a guy that gets himself a little bit too drunk, I threaten like those poor boys, like their futures are done when I just got my future fucking
Listen,
slammed.
no one's going to defend an aspect of a girl who was that passed out drunk and then people who were not passed out drunk passing her around the way
but
they
they
did with
did
that.
though.
I'm talking about like our age. Realistically, like if you're talking people in our generation, I don't think a lot of people are going to be
newscaster
passing
was
that.
like an older woman, dude.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
there, there's
Older woman.
there's analogs out there like the Duke lacrosse thing where
I
those
was gonna bring
dudes
that up.
the dudes did absolute jack shit and this woman comes and their lives are just completely ruined now
But the-
because they got accused of rape and then
Do you know
boom.
the percentage of like falsely accused rapes?
How do,
2%?
do you
What is it?
how do you
know
get
the
how do you
percentage?
get the percentage for falsely
How do you
accused
know
rapes?
that?
What's the
It's
method
on
for that?
RAINN.org. that talks about it.
Yeah, but what's the
How'd they figure that
methodology?
out,
That's
though?
not a that's
I don't know. The
that's a
study
very
behind
hard
it, but
study.
It's an accredited like organization. Like their statistics are not just like thrown out into the open.
So is every time that
It is-
someone has
But you know, no, you know how they get
If
those
you would let me
statistics?
finish this right now.
Okay.
2% is the same rate at which all crimes are falsely accused.
Okay.
It's the same for sexual assault.
Okay.
I wouldn't doubt that. But
So it's not like it's
here's
this hyper phenomenon.
Here's
that's
another thing
happening.
that happens though. Okay, so that case I agree, terrible. Those guys should go to jail. They had sex with a passed out woman. Awful. But two adults, we'll say 22 years old, they're both drunk, they both met each other that night, and they hook up. And the girl has regrets about the hookup in the morning. Is that rape?
I mean, there's so many other factors that go into that. Did she affirmatively?
Oh my God! Come on.
Wait, hold on.
It's like the Aziz Ansari thing, where the
Listen, I'm
girl
not even-
gives
I wanna
her.
hear what she said.
Okay.
Do you? Because you threw that "oh come on" real fucking fast.
Don't get me wrong, I'm
Listen.
gonna probably disagree with what you say, but I still want to hear it.
I mean, whatever. It depends on how affirmative that consent was. If in that moment they were like, yes, like I want to do this, I'm into this. If there is hesitation, like here's the thing. We don't take into consideration the nuances of body language and pressure. And we've talked about this on previous podcasts before. And I'm like a very strong believer in this. There's a difference between, you know, not saying no and affirmative consent.
But what if they don't say anything?
That's a no.
Whoa, you need
No.
you need to get a yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, you
What?
do.
How much? If you had, there's so much sex that happens
I agree.
where no one says anything.
I always ask.
Oh, I always say.
You go, do you consent to having sex
No,
right
no, no.
now? That's
Again,
a fucking.
You say,
Oh
do
yeah,
you
we've
wanna
had this
fuck right now?
conversation. Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
say.
Well, I didn't know
want
about
sex right now.
I didn't know about the. You know, I've had sex before. I didn't know the fucking cool way to ask
Why
it
would
before.
you even risk that?
Cause I'm a fucking well.
No.
Because you're about to have sex.
Okay.
It's like your first. Like if it's your first time having sex.
You wanna-
There's no shame in not knowing how to ask for it in a proper way. That's you're learning.
But you
Of
know how to
course.
get around that? Go on a date first. Get to know the person. That's what I
Nah,
do.
but then you can't have casual
Oh,
sex.
shut up. What? That's
Yeah.
so stupid.
Hold on.
This
Let
is
me.
the one that wants
Hold
to
on. Can we
worry
gang up
about
on
it.
him now? All right. Hold on. I gotta
You don't
switch
have to go
sides
on a
real quick.
date to like have consensual sex. I don't know. You can still. I don't. Every
I
time.
think that's the right thing to do, is to take
I
somebody on
think-
a date at least once, get to know the person before you're fucking them. I don't want to fuck some stranger.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you
What
this
date did we
much.
Go on.
We went to the fucking baseball game.
That was after. That was okay.
But we talked for a while.
All right. We're on the same
At
side
least you
now.
need to, at least you need
We
to
gotta scoop over, scoot over, scoop
least-
over real
At
quick.
least you need to be talking to the person for a little bit.
This is
And I
so
got
much more
consent
fun.
because we literally talked about it.
We did talk about it. That's
Yeah.
part of consent, and I also said like.
I don't
in
think
the
you gotta
moment,
talk about
I will
it.
Say what I want.
I don't like the whole affirmative consent thing because I think
You're
Look.
just bad at dirty talk. Because if you're like fine at dirty talk, it's actually like,
bad at dirty talk does not equal rapist though.
Right?
all right, I
That's
was not
the-
making that.
Parker,
funny.
get over
No,
here, son.
no.
Get back over
there.
here.
No, Jesus Christ. No, but that's the whole thing. Is like sex is so complicated. Most guys are horrible at body language anyway, myself included.
So get better
I'm,
at it.
huh?
So get better at it.
Oh
but-
yeah, just get better at it. If it's so easy, yeah, it's so
hold on,
easy.
hold on.
Let me
Yeah.
comment before you say anything about that.
All right,
When you're
I'll
saying
let you speak first.
when you're saying get better at that, a lot of these cases are people who just got into college and that's when they suck at it. They never had any.
That's
Exactly.
what I mean, education. You know when you're talking to somebody and that person doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Like you know in mid conversation
Yeah.
when that person has lost
Not
interest.
when you've been drinking.
Well, not even
Which
just
is
not when
what
you've been
all the
drinking.
college students are
There's a
doing.
lot of times, like if the first time
they
you,
need more education.
the first time you have sex, it is very awkward. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You're like a motherfucker that just got dropped, paratrooped into
That's
Vietnam.
fine. You talk
and you,
about what's going on.
yeah,
You
that's
say what
that's
you
cool to say. But if you said that to like, no one told that to 16-year-old Parker Brown. You know,
They should.
who was
have.
awkward, who had no
That's my
social
whole
skills.
Point is that that's part of like what sex education should be is affirmative
Yes.
consent.
Well, okay. Well, what we're talking about, or what I was talking about, I didn't communicate this, was the legality of it. If you're 16 years old and you have sex with somebody and you're awkward as fuck about it, that doesn't make you a rapist. That's what the affirmative consent law says. It says if you're awkward as fuck and you don't talk about it at all.
Fuck, it
Yes, it does.
doesn't.
It says if they don't give affirmative consent, it is rape. That's literally what the law says in California. California is an affirmative consent state. It says if they don't give affirmative consent, it is rape. If you're awkward as fuck and you don't talk at all, they didn't give affirmative consent.
So wait.
Therefore, it is rape.
You're telling
That is
me-
perfectly
you're
logical
telling-
and chronological.
You're telling me like this. Two people are making out.
Yeah.
Both feeling up on one another. They go into their room. No one says yes or no or anything, and they just end up hooking up. And then someone like
They bang.
and you just go
P and
through
vag.
your routine.
Yeah.
And start. Everything's getting heated. And
Yeah. I like the incense, I put on Smooth by Santana on repeat, But
That's your
if you don't
problem.
say anything,
That's-
Well, that's
but
problem
that's
number one over
that-
there.
that
should be rape.
That was a joke, but yeah, that should be rape if you put on. No, but that is rape in California because it's an affirmative consent law. If you just have awkward as fuck sex and no one says anything, that is rape. And guess who gets blamed? Why doesn't the guy have to give affirmative consent?
They
That's
do.
the whole thing. Huh?
Do.
The no, he doesn't.
But no
The
dude
consent
is
we stick
ever
it in you.
no. There's never been a single arrest made because the dude didn't give a confirmative consent. There's never been a single. I guarantee. I'll bet $100 on it.
Fact, or are you like throwing this out there?
I would bet $100
like
on
sexual, like male sexual assault happens. Like
I was male sexually assaulted, not by a male, but like by a woman.
it
Have I told you guys
happens.
that story?
it. Hold on, no, we're getting past this. If a dude and a woman don't
No
hold
one
on.
cares about sexual
Hold
assault
on.
on men. Not even men.
I'll hear it in a second. But if two people.
I'll hear it in a second.
So you believe in? Do you believe in confirmative consent should be a law? Do you think it should be illegal to not have confirmed whatever the fuck
Affirmative consent.
affirmative consent, or do you think it should be like I'm totally fine with having stuff that's in between like full on rape and like hey, if you get fined $200 because you didn't give affirmative consent,
Fine, $200.
but it shouldn't be like 16 years in jail,
First of all, Parker, like no white boy like you is gonna get 16 years in jail for
Oh, shut up about that. What? You act like
Wow.
people don't go to jail for crimes.
rape. White men seem to get away with like sexual assault.
You know who gets away with crimes way more than white men is white women.
Oh, for
Look
sure.
that shit up.
No, I believe you. I believe that for fucking
Black
sure.
women get away with crimes more
Women
than
in general
than
get away
white
with crimes
men.
way more than men.
Black women get away with.
would actually
They have a lower
agree.
conviction rate and they have lesser sentences than white men. It's
you know
completely.
that?
You can look that. Yeah, you can look that
You
up
can look
right
at
now.
the statistics.
Right, but they're also susceptible to like way more violence.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Of course,
justify
it becomes
it like that. That's not
we're not
justification.
talking about that. We're not
talking about-
talking
I'm
about
not
that right now.
justifying
We're getting off.
anything.
We're getting off topic.
This man's yelling over here.
I am yelling.
Just because you went back to bartending and make a fuckload of money doesn't mean you
Whoa,
can sit here and yell
whoa.
at us right now.
Let's not say a fuckload of money.
And make an average.
$13
Parker.
cash, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No.
Parker's
Do you
drunk.
think? That kind of. Do you think? What do you think the laws should be around affirmative consent? I really want to hear this.
I feel a little conflicted in my brain right now because I think it is hard to define. However, I am so like vehemently for affirmative consent because it removes the question. However, I think that if you're going to make it into a law, you need to supply so much more education around it. You need to give people the tools to adhere to it in order to pass it as like a legality.
Yo.
And I think that starts with sex education in like high school to talk about, there's a difference between somebody not saying anything and there's a difference between talking about it. And it like also the understanding that like the societal explanation and our understanding that talking about sex is normal and fine because there's like in hookup culture, quote unquote, people think that it's like not cool to talk about it. I'm like, you know what? If we're having sex, we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, you mean those two people?
Those two people
Okay.
have the right to talk about it, and it's something that like
What do you
I
mean by
mean-
talk about it?
acknowledge.
Like you're like. Oh,
Like
sorry.
acknowledge that it happened and tell other people?
acknowledge
What do you
like what no between the two of you acknowledge
yeah.
like what's happening, what you want to happen, acknowledge, and even that comes down to like defining the relationship, which nobody ever wants to do for some reason.
What do you
like,
mean?
It's open communication, whereas you bring up the like what are we converse, like that's a trope and it's a joke. They're like, so what are we? Like, it's hard for people to talk about.
But isn't
See,
that's a direct result of hookup culture? Is that?
It is. It for sure is that it's hard to talk about something like that. It's like, you don't, when I'm asking that question, I'm not asking you to tell me that we're going to get married. If it's just like casual and fine, just tell me so that I know that it's casual and fine, because that leads into affirmative consent. Because then it goes into like, I'm, you know, accepting this relationship as is, as opposed to if you're like, you know, leading somebody on and acting like you're going to date them and stuff you don't really want to for the sake of like, oh, they might not be into like casual stuff. Like, that's wrong on a different level.
I don't think that should be illegal though. There's a difference. Yeah.
Illegal,
And and the same way that I don't think that
I think
having
when it
awkward
comes to
sex shouldn't be
though,
illegal.
But like, why does it have to be awkward? Why can't you talk about it?
Because people are awkward. Because I am awkward. Because there are millions and millions of people like me out there that are very, very awkward. And it's fine and cool to say everyone should be cool and understand body language and should understand all this normal stuff that normal people understand. But there's always the people that aren't like that, and I am a member of that group.
I'm sorry, but my final stance on this is that if you're not comfortable enough to talk about the sex that you're having, you shouldn't be having sex.
But the whole thing is, who's the onus on it? And
both parties.
No matter, you say both parties, and I like that. I like your stance on it. I've maybe been disingenuous. I like your stance on it, but in general, most of the time, the onus is put on the guy. The guy has to figure out.
Like,
the guy has to figure out who wants to whether they want to have. And talk about interrupting people. You've tried to interrupt me like 3 times in the last 5 minutes. If we're gonna go there, but I'm just louder than you. Like the onus is always put on the dude. The dude has to understand body language. The dude has to get affirmative consent. The guy has to do every fucking thing. They have to be the end all be all and the fucking judge and jury on whether the person like wants to have sex or not. And especially the first couple times you do it. Of course, like now when I'm however old I am, 24, I can figure it out, you know. But young Parker Brown, very awkward. Didn't know jack shit about anything,
Still
you know.
had midget arms.
I don't. It still had midget arm, like midget fingers too. You think it's easy to have sex?
I was gonna leave that.
You think it's easy to get you know, whatever. But
leave that one alone.
but you know, it's. I just feel for that kind of guy, you know, and I relate to that kind of guy. And when you have these laws that say that you have to have this type of consent and you have to do this, is I just know my own experience where it goes. Well, we didn't say anything that time. We both would have been rapists. Like, that doesn't make sense, you know?
Listen, again, that comes down to my point that the main problem is education. The main problem is not telling people that they need to be talking about it.
How do you do that sort of education, though? Like,
Hold
do
on.
you do role playing while you're in the?
No, in sex ed, you explain what affirmative consent
1 second.
is. What?
Oh, I just got one.
All right.
Okay, what were you saying?
You gotta explain what affirmative consent is and what that means, and define that it means it's not the absence of a no, but the presence of a yes. That doesn't happen in high schools,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't.
Yeah, and it needs to, because it's really fucking important. And then it leads to people being more comfortable with that. Like, if you ingrain that at a young age, like when people are just starting to become sexually active, and you ingrain that, like, it just something is not the absence of a no, but the presence of a yes. Like, that's easy to remember. It like flows well. If you start digging that into people's brains, then they understand more clearly. Even with like, I mean, there's so many ways to like embrace the awkwardness of sex, to laugh about it, to be like, I just want to make clear right now that this is like a full blown yes. Like you and I, like, we got going on like yes. Like, there's so many ways to just be dumb and silly about it. You can also make it mad fucking sexy if you want to.
Right.
But you don't have to. You don't have to have game to just acknowledge it. And like, everybody can relate to the fact that sex is awkward and uncomfortable. That's why, like, if you're not laughing at least once during a sexual experience, like, you're not really giving into the fact that sex is a little hilarious.
I just really feel that one of the things that would solve it, your idea with driving in sex ed with like having a yes all the time before you do anything, grade A, yes, I agree with that 100%. But also, not fucking on the first night. I think that should be a value that people have just in general as well. Well, then your opinion right there leads to more of the things that you don't like.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I'll
Yes,
be
it
honest
does.
with somebody
Because
on the first night the same as I will
the
2
first-
weeks
the
later.
No, because the first night you're dealing with somebody, a lot of people meet at bars or at a frat party or something our age, and then they're drunk, and they're not going to be thinking the way that you're thinking right now, going, you gotta get that yes, you gotta
If
get
it's
that
ingrained
yes.
in their mind, it should be.
No,
it
I
should be the
guarantee
same as
you.
like when I'm drinking. Like I don't think like
No.
it
Have you
should
been
be-
drunk before?
I have, and that's what I'm trying to think of. Like, you know, I
You
still
don't
am
look
at
for
least
that.
a little bit aware of like what is socially okay and what's not. Like I've never been so like blacked out that I've like puked on the floor. Like that's, and I get that's a bad example. Like people do that and it happens, but like I'm trying to think of other shit where it's no matter how drunk I am, I'm not gonna go like rob somebody on the street. Like I'm not gonna go beat somebody up.
You don't know that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it should be so ingrained into our human psyche that you need an affirmative yes, that there's no
You know what I say?
But for both people, I would
For
agree.
both
I would
people.
completely
For
agree with that. But
fucking
it
sure.
but it has
Here's
to
why,
be.
Here's
but the-
why it's tipped that way. It's because sexual assault does happen more often to women by men than it does to men by women.
Not if you include prisons.
Well, that's men
That's
on
men by men, so you're still like men
That's
are still
you're
at
still
fault right
blaming
now.
men for all those.
Yeah.
How about this?
But
One
sexual
time-
assaults against men, if you include prisons, happen at similar rates to sexual assaults against women.
But the perpetrator and it's still men.
Okay.
That's why it's tipped to where like men.
Well,
need
I
the
would say
consent
that
right now.
that's not why it's tipped. I would say that the tip is the old, like perception that men, like it's the old thing like, why is it cool for men to fuck a bunch of girls, but it's not cool for a girl to get fucked by a bunch of guys?
That I'm
because a key that can open any lock is a good key,
That's
and
the
a
thing.
lock that can be opened by any key.
That's
Yeah,
the
is
thing.
a
gross.
bad key.
It's a gross
That's a whole
mentality.
and that's bad.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way. I completely agree.
Well, that comes
but
down
it,
to,
it co-
and
but
you're not going to want to hear this, comes down to toxic masculinity,
No,
in which you're taught, in which you're taught
no.
that it's okay for men to fuck like
No.
crazy, and women are taught that like your virginity is sacred. You shouldn't share
one half
with
of it is
everybody.
toxic masculinity, but one half of it is toxic femininity, where you're taught, or women are taught to be pure angels, and that having sex ruins you as a
That's a-
sexual partner.
That's a byproduct of toxic
No, it's
masculinity.
not. No.
It is
Toxic
because,
femininity?
because
That's
who is
toxic
it-
femininity.
Who are
I
you?
figured toxic
Who are you?
femininity would be the
Listen, I
one-
have a good point to make, you guys. It's
I
toxic.
figured toxic fit. No, go right ahead.
It's toxic masculinity because at the end of the day, the person who decided that if you have sex you're less valuable is men.
Not
What?
completely.
Like in that aspect,
Repeat
That's
that, please?
impossible.
No, I didn't.
the
First off-
people who at the end of the day decided like, oh, a woman who fucks a lot is less desirable. Yeah, men made that decision.
Yeah.
And guess-
yeah, because you're the opposite sex, and men are going to make that judgment on women. You all make the judgment on
Women,
men.
yeah, that men can.
No, the fuck we don't.
Yeah,
What do you mean? You don't
yeah,
judge
yeah,
men?
yeah,
Not based off of sexual
Yeah, yeah,
partners.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
make
yeah.
se- What's a fuck?
Women generally enjoy sex.
A fuckboy is a guy who uses women and treats them badly and manipulates them in order to
Right,
get
so
what
a-
they want. Not somebody who fucks a lot. You can fuck a lot and be a nice person.
Oh.
I think generally.
By the way, I agree with that overall statement, but generally, who are the people when they're fucking a lot are those guys. Don't get me wrong, if I'm in like...
For me, a
if I-
fuckboy has a lot to do with manipulation and being a bad person. It's nothing to do with like sexual, like body count or whatever the fuck.
Right, but if I'm... Every woman I've ever had sex with, I have at least talked to for over a...
Both of them.
Suck it, dick. Parker. It's 7, thank you
But
very
only if they affirmatively consent to it. He said suck a dick. Okay, whatever. That was fucking funny, and I stand by it.
much. Parker, let's do you and me real quick.
I'm kind of offended right now. I think she's just feeding into toxic masculinity again.
We actually,
I'm
You-
kidding.
we need to get out of here pretty soon.
Do we really?
Mhm.
This is so good though.
I know, but it's gonna be even better.
Okay.
I mean, I like this dynamic.
We need to get drunk again. That's what did it.
Well, you're the only one drunk.
Yeah, but I'm
We
way-
need
Yeah,
to
we
get
need to get drunk again.
Sorry.
You probably red lighted this thing a lot.
Big Papa needs to get drunk again.
Ew.
What, so you can talk
Ew.
over both people?
Yes.
Like instead of just her?
Yes. Exactly. You figured it
I
out.
was letting you go a little bit. Welcome to the Parker Brown.
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome-
Who would have thought the PB stood for Parker Brown instead of...
Welcome.
Instead of what, peanut butter?
No, preferably biased. It's the name of the show. The name of the show.
Oh, I
Welcome
made
to-
myself look like an idiot just now.
Welcome to Parker Brown.
Peanut butter? What? What?
I was like,
Yeah, my brother's name is Jamie, so he used to be PB and
I laughed
J.
so hard, I just got COPD from that.
No one knows that we aren't respiratory therapists. We don't
It's
know what
a-
COPD is.
I thought that was funny.
What is that? Carbon?
I'm sorry I'm more educated than you, Parker.
Jesus
How dare you?
Christ.
Welcome to Parker Talks even more this time. That's what this podcast should be called.
Podcast, but also as you talk more, like somehow you get closer to the camera. So by the end of it, like
I'm just sitting right there. That'd be great.
Speaking of
Oh,
camera, did I
Speaking
tell
of
you about
camera.
the camera I just bought?
no, you didn't.
It's in your bathroom. No. No. But it's a $550 camera.
because you're watching her piss.
And it comes in tomorrow.
Parker Brown.
I already 2 of those jokes is too
Not
far.
even tasteful. Not even.
He made the
good.
joke. I just explained
It
it.
was tasteful.
How is yours
meant, like,
tasteful?
oh, he left
How is
it
I have a
there.
camera in your bathroom of tasteful
It's
thing?
unexpected. It's not true, and she knows it's not true, and she laughed. So now I know it's tasteful.
Okay, well she laughed at mine too.
I laughed
No,
because
she
I assumed
didn't.
it meant like, oh, left my camera there, but now I'm processing it, and that's not what you meant. That's not what you meant.
I'm taking the
No,
laugh.
you laughed at mine harder than you laughed at his.
I didn't.
We
laugh.
can
I
replay-
squelched.
we can-
I screamed. I was.
See,
aghast.
I'm not good at reading body. No, I'm sorry. That was too far.
Squelch is like fear.
Squelch is not a word.
Is it not?
Google it.
If we were playing Scrabble right now, I'd fucking fight you. Squelch is totally a
Yeah,
word.
she's an English major. I'm gonna
Squelch.
take her.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take
it
her.
probably is a word.
How do you spell it?
and I'm not totally sure if it's a word.
All right,
Spell
how do you?
squelch?
SQUELCH.
SQU
ELCL.
Squelch.
C.
CH. Squelch.
That makes sense. I'm an idiot.
The definition.
Hey, there you go, Parker.
What?
Make a soft sucking sound.
All right, that's not.
You
what
did
I
not do that.
Such
So,
as that, made
so-
by walking heavily through mud.
yep.
Is that what you did?
You walked.
Can you?
I don't
please-
see any mud,
I'm
but
walking heavily through mud
Can
right
you,
now.
Can you please try to make that sound?
This is bad. Nobody wants to listen to that.
What's the second?
ASMR people.
There's no other definition.
So it is a word. I was wrong. It
What's
is a
the
word.
We're
definition?
both wrong, Parker.
You
Brown.
just, yeah, exactly.
What's the
That's the best
definition
kind
of-
of
I feel
wrong.
like that's the gist of this podcast. Is we're all a little wrong.
Can you do SQELCH? See if that is anything.
That's what he SQELC. No, you have to have the Q in there. Or the U, I mean. That's not.
Yeah, Parker, you're dumb.
Okay.
Okay.
Look up Urban Dictionary though.
No.
Okay.
Do you know what the
I have no idea. But it's probably funny.
The Urban Dictionary.
13 gentlemen in mime outfits give each other hand jobs while.
What are you talking about?
Well, that's all the Urban Dictionary definitions are all about sex acts.
Are they?
Yeah, rusty trombone.
I looked up the difference between describing something as like mad funny versus hella funny. Mad is like Boston East Coast, and hella is like West Coast.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with sex.
you got me feeling hella good, so
Let's
I'ma
quote.
keep on dancing. Boom, 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 boom,
Alright, Steve just got here.
boom,
You
boom.
guys ready to end it?
Yeah, can I smoke a cigarette real
Not
quick?
in here, no.
Yeah,
Before
they're
this
in my
podcast
they're in my
is
car.
over, end
Cool.
the podcast, Parker Brown, and then you can
Yeah.
smoke a cigarette.
Talk us out, Parker.
This podcast.
Don't yell into that. You're so close to yelling. You still don't. How? I've explained this so many times.
So close
I-
and yelling sounds like every bearded white man's biology.
Racist
No,
and
not biology,
beardist.
biography. I fucked it up by being
Racist
a little
and
stupid.
beardist.
I fucked it
All
up by
right,
being
can we please
stupid.
give it up for the racist and beardist, whatever your name is, Ryan Grimes, and I'm Parker Brown. Have a good one.
We also never talked about my sexual assault because no one cares about male sexual assault.
Oh my
Have a good night,
God,
everyone.
Wow, what a point.
I was just being a dick because you made fun of my beard. I know you're.